The Federal Health Resources and Services Administration is awarding Jordan Valley Community Center $1 million to expand healthcare services in Springfield. We have an on your side alert. Police in Branson are warning you of a phone scam that says you have missed a court date. Murder charges have been dropped against a man for a deadly shooting in Springfield. Students in one Ozark school district won't be in class today, but that's not because of bad roads. Why Reed Spring students will be doing online learning. MSU football team will kick off its first season in Conference USA on a brand new field. 575 ballots have already been cast since the polls opened at 6 o'clock this morning. That bill is currently waiting on the governor's desk for him to sign off on it, and if he does, then that could encourage big production companies like Netflix to make their way to the state of Missouri. So at about 11:30 last night, 7 inmates overpowered 2 jailers, and of those inmates, 3 of them were recaptured, but 4 did escape. You can see just how thick that branch is, and this is heavy too. This is not a little stick. School districts all over the state are suffering from a sub-teacher shortage. The country is facing a maternity care crisis, and now that crisis is hitting a little bit closer to home. So take a look at this map right here. This shows the areas where there are high levels of maternity care, but it also shows places that are maternity care deserts or areas that don't have any access to maternal care. Now, when the Cox-Monett Hospital closes its labor and delivery doors, Berry County will become one of those deserts. Now, several moms voiced their disappointment and concerns, and I sat down with a few of them to hear what they had to say.
It just sucks. It really does.
It's devastating. I was shocked.
Many new and expecting moms were caught off guard when they saw the announcement that the Monett Labor and Delivery Unit would no longer be serving patients this summer. Taylor Haney is expecting her 3rd baby in August and will now have to drive 45 minutes to Springfield for her weekly appointments and delivery.
It's going to be pretty difficult. I work a full-time job, and I'm also a mom. My fiance works, so we share one vehicle, so it's going to be hard to schedule appointments, go 45 minutes to an hour, sit there for an hour, schedule around work and everything else.
An inconvenience many women in rural communities face. According to a study by the March of Dimes, 54 Missouri counties have no access to maternal care or birthing centers. Expecting moms have to travel to the nearest hospital, and that can be scary.
I was in active labor for 20 minutes. So, if I had to go to Springfield, I don't know if I would have made it.
Jade Morphin had her daughter in December. The distance wasn't the only challenge her and her husband had to face.
There was this big snowstorm, I'm sure you remember, and it was bad.
Bethany Fisk says that she felt safer having care closer to home.
This is my first baby. I didn't know what I was doing. It was nice to be able, if I had to go in, it's a 10-minute drive, 15-minute driving.
We reached out to Cox for an interview, and they issued a statement that says, Cox-Monett has made every effort to avoid the maternity care crisis. With a national shortage of physicians, it has become even more difficult to recruit obstetricians and family practice physicians to rural areas. Now, Mercy does have a hospital in Aurora with a labor and delivery unit, but it is out of network for some insurances, and some of the expecting moms that I talked to said that they just prefer to use Cox. So you can take a look at Cox and Mercy statements that were issued to us at KY3.com and the KY3 News app. Yes, Staff Sergeant Moses Tate was an airman in the U.S. Army. After his plane crashed in Romania, he would become a POW MIA until his remains would be identified on July 12, 2022.
We've heard about Uncle Moses for my whole lifetime, and we've never dreamed that he would come home.
In the summer of 1943, Staff Sergeant Moses F. Tate was assigned to Operation Tidal Wave. He and a fleet of B-24 airplanes would bomb the German oil refineries in an attempt to shorten the fuel supply and bring an end to the war. The low-level mission would require the planes to fly at just 200 to 300 feet above target. Because the enemy anticipated the attack, 310 airmen were killed. Sergeant Tate was one of the 80 men who would be unidentified. Until now. Dr. Megan Ingolstad is a forensic anthropologist for the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency and project lead for identifying all the remains from Operation Tidal Wave.
I think it's the best part of this job. It's the most satisfying, rewarding part, being able to put a name on a person who has been unaccounted for, sometimes for something like 70 years, and return them to their family. And that's the best part.
DPAA is working to identify the remains of the 80 men who did not return home. Once a soldier is identified, workers place a rose seal next to the picture to indicate his remains are accounted for. So far, 37 remains have been identified and returned home to their families. In 2017, the DPAA began exhuming unknowns believed to be associated with Operation Tidal Wave losses. These remains were sent to the Air Force Base in Nebraska for identification. Sergeant Tate's sister never gave up hope that one day he would be brought home and began recruiting family members to volunteer DNA to see if any of the unknown remains could be a match. She would not be alive to see it, but on July 12, 2022, the DPAA identified the remains and Sergeant Tate would return home.
Wish Mom was there. That's all she talked about, Uncle Moses. And it was nice.
Geneva Janowski is the niece of Moses Tate. She received the call letting her know that her uncle was found and began working with the Army to have his remains brought to Springfield for a military funeral. Geneva was born 5 years after her uncle's death, but she says her family often spoke of Uncle Moses.
The only memories any of us have is what our parents were telling us, and they're all gone. All of his brothers and sisters are gone.
Staff Sergeant Tate was a tailman for a B-24 bomber. Of the 10 crewmen, only 3 survived. Tate is the first of his crew to be identified. The DPAA currently has more than 7,000 sets of remains in need of identification.
If you're missing family, get in touch with the Army and they will start checking DNA and bring them home.
Now, services for Sergeant Tate will take place tomorrow morning. There's going to be a funeral at Faith Lutheran Church in Branson at 10 o'clock and then a graveside interment here at the Missouri Veterans Cemetery at noon. Live in Springfield, I'm Kaitlyn Schumacher. Meet Big B. As you can see, she is very, very pregnant, and her pregnancy has people stampeding to social media every day for updates.
It's been crazy, but it's been awesome.
Emily married into the Anderson family about a year ago and began working on the farm. She's been keeping a close eye on Big B and posting about her every day with updates.
It was amazing whenever I saw how many reactions and how many people were interested in her. It was so awesome. People are asking me every day for updates. They're telling me that they check on her in the middle of the night before they go to work. They're telling their husband, their families, and it's been really awesome seeing how much people are enjoying watching her. So we'll just get flooded with comments like, oh, B was the talk of the Super Bowl party. Everyone is talking about her. People are saying they have group chats with their families.
Big B is a 7-year-old Angus, and this isn't her first time giving birth, so Emily and her husband know she'll be a great mom. The real mystery is how many calves will Big B have?
It's just a surprise, so everyone is waiting to see how many babies she's gonna have.
Well, Big B here is taking care of those pregnancy cravings. Now, cows take about 9 months to have a calf, and they typically only have 1, but can have up to 2 babies, but even on rare occasions, there could be more.
I hope twin girls, because I will keep, if they have twins, I'll keep the one that because sometimes they don't take both of them. And so I'll take the other one and I'll keep them with my other bottle babies.
While there's no official due date for the baby or babies, Emily says they expect them any day now. In Ash Grove, I'm Kaitlyn Schumacher.